everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today marks about 10% of the way through the 2024 MLB season. I hate thinking about it like that, but I think that this is a very appropriate time to look back at our hot takes from the 2024 preseason and, base this 10% on how the rest of the season will go, because surely how things are now is how things will end up. So I think that this is just extremely appropriate. And some of you guys have some really fun takes. I surfed the Reddit sphere and I also asked you guys for some hot takes over on my Twitter. We're just gonna jump right in, look at some of these and see how things are kind of progressing. If you like today's video, feel free to leave a like on the video, only if you liked it though, and go ahead and leave me a comment about any of these takes that you might agree or disagree with. And also, I would love it if you guys would let me know in the comments what kind of content you want to see from me. I have a working list, but obviously I want to put out content that you guys want to see. So let me know down below and subscribe if you haven't already if you don't want to miss any more content from me. So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, we're going to start with Reddit first. I love to come and casually look at the baseball Reddit thread when I want to put my sadness about the Angels in perspective. There are other fan bases that freak out just as much as me, and it makes me feel better sometimes. Obviously, we got to look at this first one here. The A's will have 3 All-Stars and win at least 70 games. Now listen, 19 days ago that might have been kind of a hot take, man, but here to talk movies too might have been onto something here. At the time of this recording, the A's are 5-8, but they've won 5 of their last 6. So maybe they're on a hot streak. Why can you think that your team is on a hot streak, but the A's can't? I'm just saying. I'm not sure that this pace is exactly sustainable considering they're at the bottom of the league in a lot of hitting stats, including runs, hits, stolen bases, and the entire slash line. But I'm not saying that this isn't possible. Let's not forget that it took Oakland 23 games to win their first 5 games of the season in 2023, and it only took them 13 this time around. So the A's right now currently have 3 dudes that have OPS pluses over 100. Mr. Shea Langoliers, JD Davis, and Zach Geloff. When you have a core like that, try to take the A's curtain off of this team and just look at it from an unbiased perspective. With these 3, plus the pitching, kind of keeping this team somewhat afloat, this is one of the hotter takes, but I don't necessarily disagree with it. I think Esteury Ruiz should be on this roster, but that's an entirely different story. If you want me to expand on that a bit, please let me know, and I would be so happy to dive into the catastrophe that is the A's organization. I think 70 wins might be ceiling for this ball club, but who knows? They just took a series against the reigning champs. Baseball is a funny sport, okay? Speaking of the reigning champs, Mr. Z Master 5296 says the Rangers and DBacks will miss the playoffs. That's a little bit of a spicy one, but they're called hot takes for a reason. At the time of this recording, the Rangers are 7-6 and sit first place in the AL West, and the DBacks are 6-7 and sit third place in the NL West. I don't think both of these teams miss the playoffs necessarily, but I do think that the DBacks will have a tough time sneaking in with other teams in the National League that are surprisingly performing really well. The NL West seems sort of on par with what most of us thought, although the Giants have kind of had a slow start. Now, for the Rangers, what the is going on in the AL West, man? I personally am not going to complain. I'm praying on the Astros' downfall. I'm sorry if you're an Astros fan. You've been too good for too long, okay? Despite the current standings, both teams are doing good things offensively. The Diamondbacks are currently 5th in runs per game at 5.71, tied for 6th in hits and home runs, 3rd in strikeouts, and have a team 106 OPS plus, so not too shabby at all. The Rangers currently sit 7th in runs per game at 5.64. They're tied for 6th place in hits, 4th in RBIs, 4th in strikeouts, and 4th in the league in OPS plus with a 122 OPS plus. So that Rangers 1 through 9, as we already knew, is absolutely horrifying. So both teams are doing great things offensively. The Rangers starting pitching has looked fine so far. Most of their stats do fall in the top half of the league, but their bullpen is in the bottom half of the league. Not by much, but that could explain some of the issues that they've been facing so far. They've also lost 3 of their games by 2 runs or less. Again, the sample size is small, I understand, but that's the whole point of this video, is to overreact over a small sample size. The Diamondbacks starting pitching has been top 10 in a variety of categories, and the bullpen has also been pretty solid. However, like I mentioned before, the National League looks to be a bit tougher than the AL at this point in time. There are quite a few teams out of the National League that look pretty good so far. So the Diamondbacks might have a tough time sneaking in with all of the solid teams, but I think that the Rangers could still definitely sneak in or still take the division, to be honest. The next one is from Jumpy Chocolate. What a name. Rookie of the Year battle will be on the same team. Carter and Langford, fuck yeah, bitches. Jung-Hoo Lee and Kyle Harrison, nice. I'm gonna go ahead and safely assume that this guy is talking about the Orioles, and they might be onto something, but it might be between players that you might not have expected. The Orioles' young core, by no one's surprise, looks absolutely exceptional so far this year, but because of an unlikely rookie, or maybe just not the rookie that you would initially think, Colton Casas is turning heads. Look at this dude's baseball savant page. Give me a break. It's beautiful. It's art even. Hauser currently leads all rookies in the traditional slash lines and has put up a 332 WRC plus this season so far. I would love to see him walk a bit more at some point. He has a 6.7% walk rate right now, but perhaps when his stats level out a little bit though, as he's only striking out around 23% of the time. I don't obviously think he's going to maintain a 332 WRC plus for the entire season, so I would love to see that number come up a little bit. The way that this prediction comes true though is if Holliday gets going a bit. Holliday has gotten called up into the majors now, and he has yet to record his first hit of his MLB career. He got it. He got it. Just so you guys know. I think he just has so much pressure on him, and although he seems like he handles it very well, like he seemingly comes off as a very level-headed professional dude, once he gets that first one out of the way, I think he'll be good. I think if Jackson Holliday ends up having a good year, he will win AL Rookie of the Year just because of how hyped up he's been. From Original Cold, Mike Trout has the last mostly healthy 8+ WAR MVP season of his career. The return of the King discourse will be juicy, and it will be the swan song we all deserve. What makes me think this? Nothing but my desire to see it happen. You know what, Original Cold? Me too. And I think the rest of the baseball world kind of agrees with you on that one. You guys know I'm an Angel fan, but you bet your ass I'm gonna take a second to give Trouty his flowers. Trout looks so good. I mean, he always looks great, but he looks fantastic to start the year off. He's currently tied for the league in home runs with 6 and is slashing 318, 400, 796 with an 1196 OPS to start the year at the time of this recording. I mean, just when you think you even have the opportunity to write Mike Trout off, he says, hold on a minute, I'm still here. Trout is currently on pace for an 11.8 WAR season, which would be a career high. Now again, we're creeping up on 10% of the way through the season, okay? I get it. But it doesn't seem outlandish for Mike Trout to have an 11.8 WAR season. That 11.8 WAR would be the highest he's had since like 2018. He had a 9.5 WAR season then, and then back in 2012 and 2013, that's when he reached that 10 WAR mark. He's sporting the best K percentage of his career. He's striking out 16% of the time and has a home run to fly ball ratio of 25%. Do you understand that? That means that 1 out of every 4 fly balls that he hits is a home run. His whiff rate has also been the best it's ever been. So he's swinging the bat and he is making contact. Again, maybe I just want to will it into existence as best as I can, but this man could walk into his 4th MVP and take sole possession of having the 2nd most MVP awards in a Major League Baseball career. Don't we all want that? Like, come on, guys. Next one is from Boring Shoe 95. numbers. 9-7-5-9. Pirates win their division. I was a little low on the Pirates to start the year. I believe I put them 4th in the NL Central. It's spicy, but it's less spicy now than it was 19 days ago. The Pirates are on fire to start the year. They are 9-4 at the time of this recording. The Pirates also had a hot start to the year last year, but it fizzled out a bit after some injuries occurred, most notably O'Neal Cruz. But so far this year, the Pirates offense, who's led by Connor Joe, Michael A. Taylor, and Edward Olivares, has been cooking. The team is currently 11th in runs per game with 5.36. They're 4th in hits, 8th in batting average, and 5th in on-base percentage with a 104 OPS plus. If you would have told me they would have had a higher than league average OPS, I wouldn't have believed you. The pitching is currently being led by Martin Perez, Marco Gonzalez, and Hunter Stratton. They've looked really good to start the year too. The pitching stat for the Pirates is 7th in runs allowed per game at 4.07. They're 10th in ERA, 8th in ERA plus at 125. 4th in FIP, which is fantastic, and they're 2nd in WHIP at 1.108. So they're proving my preseason prediction wrong so far. However, starting the season 6-1 against the Nats and the Marlins definitely helps, okay? Listen, I'm not gonna take away a 9-4 record, but Nats and Marlins, those are teams that you should beat. They did win a series against the O's, I'll give them that. Their expected stats really don't look too shabby either. It's not like they are just getting extremely lucky or anything like that, so we will see how this team sustains. The NL Central looks to be a very interesting division this year, so we will see what happens. This next one has a few, so we're gonna run through them pretty quick. Tigers win the Central, led by Spencer Torkelson's 40+ home runs. I certainly don't think it's out of the question. However, the Guardians have been extremely solid to start the year. Is it sustainable? I'm not 100% sure, but I did predict that the Tigers would take 2nd place in their division behind the Twins, and the Twins have had kind of a rough start this year. So far, I don't think the take is too scorching. It definitely seems possible. Now, Spencer Torkelson, 40+ home runs, he hasn't hit one yet, which is making me really sad considering he's in my MLB season-long entry. He just needs his first one and then he'll be fine, right? He'll be fine. Triston Casas gets MVP votes. Casas has looked solid to start the year. He has a 250 batting average, a 339 on-base percentage, and a 404 slug with a 109 WRC+. So, solid. Not anything too crazy, but solid. We've seen a drop-off in most of his StatCast percentiles according to Baseball Savant. However, Casas historically isn't great in March, April, so I anticipate that he'll get things going a bit more as the season progresses. He has one of the best eyes I've seen. He has a great pair of eyeballs. I don't think that Casas getting MVP votes is totally out of the question, but he's gonna have to do more than what he's currently slashing. Jose Berrios continues the streak of a different Jays starter being a Cy Young finalist every year and as a career year. I didn't even realize that the Jays were like that the last couple of years, but it's true. What a crazy prediction, but so far so good. Berrios has been the best Jays starter based on ERA. I think we can expect a little bit of regression. His xERA is 5.64 and his FIP is 3.95. That's not to say that he still won't be a great pitcher this year. However, I don't think he will quite maintain this pace. There are other pitchers in the American League that I think make the cut over him. Watch this age poorly though. Seriously. Freddy Peralta wins the National League Cy Young Award. I mean, what a call, dude. Peralta looks very good to start the year as the ace of the Brewers rotation. His Baseball Savant page looks absolutely gorgeous. Peralta's 13.25 K through 9 is good for best in the National League. He's also sporting a 1.02 walks per 9 and a 2.55 ERA. I love his expected ERA of 2.58. Kind of shows you that his stats are true. His ERA is pretty true. His ground ball rate has dropped a little bit from last year. Last year's ground ball rate for him was the highest of his career, so I'm not totally surprised. However, I think that if we could bring that ground ball rate up a bit, that would be awesome. I genuinely do think that he could get Cy Young votes this year. However, I would like to see him face some higher caliber offenses. He's pitched against Baltimore, Seattle, and the Mets so far. Fernando Tatis Jr. copies Acuna by having a mediocre return from injury, followed by an MVP campaign. He puts up 10 WAR. Tatis looks like he is returning back to his 2021 form, which I think most of us are pretty happy to see. It's not a secret that Tatis had a downish year in 2023. He was one of my picks to have a bounce back year in 2024. Not only is Tatis slashing a great line, he's currently slashing .290 with a .353 on-base percentage and a .548 slug with a .901 OPS, but he's also been super clutch for the Pods this year in a short sample size. In 10 at-bats in high-leverage situations, Tatis has 4 hits, 2 of which are home runs, and 6 RBIs. We love a clutch king, okay? Unfortunately, Tatis does have to go against quite a few other National League guys that are having better starts to the year, including Mookie Betts, Spencer Steer, obviously Shohei Ohtani, etc. I do think that he has the potential to receive some MVP votes, but I'm not sure at this point in time, with the small sample size, that he'll be able to squeak it out. I would love it so much, though. He's such an electric player, so fun to watch. Our next take is from Trapper Gene. Tampa wins more games than Baltimore. Kind of a spicy take, whether or not it was 19 days ago or if it's in the middle of April. Although it may feel as if the Orioles are the far superior team at the moment, both teams really aren't too far apart from each other. Tampa is currently 7-6, tied for 3rd place in the AL East. Baltimore is 8-4 and 2nd place in the AL East. Baltimore and Tampa seem to have similar offensive numbers at the time of this filming. Baltimore is capitalizing more with runners on base, though. It's like they get runners on and they just score every time. It's insane. It must be nice, you know? Baltimore's pitching has been much better than Tampa's, however, so I don't think this take lasts very long. Although it's hard to ever count Tampa out completely since they're just such a pitching factory. Overall, I don't think I quite agree with this take, and I do think that Baltimore will win more games based off of their performances so far this season. Next one is from Efficient Wishbone. Imanaga ends up with a better season than Yamamoto. I love this take because at the beginning of the season, I agreed. Now that we're a couple weeks in, I think I still agree. So far, this has been the case, even though MLB doesn't want you to know it, considering their power rankings that they put out earlier in the week. Missing a couple of names, but hey, listen, it's a social media account. They want you to engage, so I get it. A bad first start is definitely inflating numbers for Yamamoto, and he has more innings so far, as the Cubs have 3 games in hand against the Dodgers. However, Imanaga has not given up a run in his 2 starts this season and has only thrown 1 less inning, so he's seemingly more efficient so far. Yamamoto has been giving up some hard contact and barrels despite sporting an above league average K percentage and whiff percentage. His fastball velo is above league average, however, he isn't locating it very well. As you can see by this chart here, I mean, that is just belt high down the middle, baby, and that is not sustainable. He's locating his cutter okay. It has a 95 location plus, but it doesn't have great movement, great stuff. It has a 64 stuff plus. His splitter has been fine from a pitch modeling perspective. However, he doesn't have great numbers against it. His splitter has a .250 batting average, a .500 slug, and a -5 run value. One of your fastball pitches has to be working in order to complement the off-speed breaking stuff. So I think once he gets one of these fastball pitches under control, he will post better numbers. His ground ball rate is good at 50%, but 35.7% of his contact is line drives. So I think he just needs to locate one of his fastball pitches a little bit better, and it'll complement that off-speed stuff, and he'll be fine. Again, a lot of these numbers are based on an inflated bad first start. He has been a lot better after that start. Imanaga is seeing a lot of success on his frequently used fastball as predicted in the offseason. He's throwing his fastball 67% of the time. It currently has a .042 batting average against a .042 slug and is tied for the second best fastball in Major League Baseball based on the Baseball Savant run value. If you're curious as to what run value is, it basically is just the run impact of an event based off of pitch count, outs, runners on base, etc. I like to think of it in terms of like how many runs it's saved or caused. It is a top 10 pitch in Major League Baseball as a whole and has a 106 location plus. Shota Imanaga's Baseball Savant page is looking pretty good, especially when you're looking at K rate and walk rate. I'm not sure if an 8.7% ground ball rate is sustainable, but his line drive rate is below league average at 21.7%. This is telling you that he is a fly ball pitcher, depending on what kind of ballparks you're in and what kind of contact you're giving up. Being a fly ball pitcher could produce some problems. I think the first start for Shota Imanaga's season is going to be really solid, and then once it gets a little bit warmer, especially at Wrigley, I'm not quite sure how he's going to fare. But so far, Imanaga has definitely been keeping pace with Yamamoto, even though Yamamoto may have the nastier stuff. Let's jump over to my Twitter really quick. There are a couple in here that I really want to brush over. I like this one here. The Royals earned the first wild card spot in the American League. Now, the Royals look really good, and specifically final wild card spot. I don't think that this is the most scorching hot take I've gone over so far, but let's take a closer look. The Royals are currently 9-4 and have been on a heater to start the year. Although they've only played one series against a team that's above 500, and they lost it. It was against Baltimore. The Royals also have 4 guys with WRC pluses over 100, including obviously Bobby Witt Jr., MJ Melendez, Nelson Velasquez, and Salvi. Look at Salvi. Good for you, man. Pitching ERA has also looked pretty solid so far, sporting a 4th best in the league with a 2.81 ERA. So far, yeah, they're doing really well, but I think we will get a real test of what this Royals team is about when they play higher caliber teams. I'm not quite sure they'll be able to snag a wild card spot. I did project them to get about 70 wins in 2024, but if they can maintain stats like they currently are sporting, there's no reason that they shouldn't be able to. Last one. So we already talked about Trout MVP, but I want to talk about Logan O'Hoppe All-Star. He's having a fantastic start to his first, hopefully full season. More bright red on a Baseball Savant page. I mean, nothing makes me happier than seeing that. Logan is currently second among all qualified MLB catchers in WRC+, WAR, hard hit rate, on-base percentage, slugging, and OPS. He's first in the American League amongst all catchers in those categories. Really, the guy that he's trailing is William Contreras. He's doing everything that you love to see young players doing. He's hitting the ball hard. He has a 55.2% hard hit rate, aka he's hitting the ball at least 95 miles per hour more than half the time. Crazy. He's walking around league average. He has a 9.3% walk rate compared to the 8.4% league average. And he's striking out around league average. He's striking out 20.9% of the time compared to the league average 22.1. His catching metrics on Baseball Savant have also gotten better. His framing is now in the 84th percentile compared to 15th in 2023. Again, small sample size, I understand that, but still a fantastic jump. And his caught stealing above average is now in the 58th percentile compared to 18th in 2023. He's also been calling great games. Not really much you can do if your pitchers miss their spots, but he has helped catch quite a bit of shutout baseball for some of these pitchers. So good to see that too. At this point, I don't see any reason why he doesn't get an all-star nod if he maintains anything close to this. He is one of, if not the best hitting catcher in the American League at this point in the season. So he should get an all-star nod. If he maintains, obviously. And that is it. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love diving into stats and stuff like this, so this is really, really fun for me. Our community is growing very fast. I can't believe we've already surpassed 1,000 subscribers. Super, super crazy. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I want to put out content that you guys want to see though, so let me know what you guys are interested in down below. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much, and remember to not let sports affect your mental health. It is early. It is April. Every team has to lose eventually. It's okay. I promise. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Bye.